Hello, I am Joe.
And I am Jack.
And together we are
Jack and Joe.
And if that didn't annoy you enough, we also have
what we think could be the lightest steel road bike in the world at just 5.42 kilos.
So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Jack to tell you a bit more about it.
So Yasujiro is the kind of house brand of Tange, which is a very storied, very long historied tubing manufacturer based in Taiwan.
Now obviously the main talking point is the fact that it is steel. How much does that frame weigh?
So this 52 centimetre frame weighs exactly 1,240 grams, which is remarkable given it is a steel frame. It's a 52 centimetre frame, and when I asked Tange how they made it, and by the way, it is Tange, it's not Tange, I've been saying that wrong my entire life, they explained it's actually really simple, and that's the kind of key thing with making this bike so light. It is very, very simple in terms of construction.
There's no lugs or anything like that. It's a simple welded frame. There's a few cutouts at the bottom, but apart from that, as you can see, it's a really nice clean design.
And that's part of the reason why we've all, I think, kind of fallen in love with the bike. Alongside that beautiful pate pink, it is also just a really simple, lovely looking bike, and that kind of classic, really skinny steel tubing looks absolutely wonderful.
Another key point on the frame is that it has the regular 1 1/8 inch head tube, which does make it lighter than a more modern tapered head tube design.
Within that head tube is a carbon fork that's made by BKing, who produce a lot of the kind of finishing kit on this, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So that's not actually produced by Tange, but we're assured it's a very, very lightweight fork. The last thing which makes my heart beat that little bit faster about the frame is the really beautiful moulding on the brake bridge at the back. So although yes, it is a very lightweight focused frame, there's still space for beauty in even the most performance oriented of objects.
Now onto the lightweight build. Most of the components on this bike are produced by BKing, which is an OEM Taiwanese manufacturer. Truthfully, we haven't heard much about that, have we?
No, we've never heard of the brand, but they clearly produce some very, very light kit. They do the tubular wheels, they've got the stem, the bars and the seat post, and they've painted it with a lovely matching colour as the frame.
We'd like to tell you more about the tyres, but well, there's no markings on them. We don't know how wide they are. We don't know what brand they're from. They look pretty thin, so we suspect they're a 22 or a 23, but they're going to be incredibly light.
Onto the rest of the build, there's more lightweight parts that we will often see on lightweight builds, and I think one of the key ones there is the Cane Creek EE brakes.
Yep, no lightweight rim brake bike is going to be complete without Cane Creek EE brakes. They're very popular on the UK hill climb scene. We've both used them. They're not cheap,
but they are very, very good.
Yeah. The group set is the now totally outdated, which means it's
just unusable.
SRAM Red 22 ETAP group set. Interestingly though, it does have an older style SRAM Red 22 crank.
On the crank, we do have some slightly lighter chainrings than you would see on stock with a SRAM crank, and they also come from BKing, and those kind of hollowed out chainrings, and we're sure we'll save a good chunk of weight.
Another interesting part about the group set build is that it has an external BB, which is very rare on a bike under 6 kilos.
Yeah, that's incredibly welcome on any bike in our eyes because it's much easier to live with. And likewise, the rear brake is also externally routed between 2 stops on the underside of the top tube. Again, there's nothing wrong with external cables, and I wish most bikes came with them.
Another thing we really like about the build is it has this really cool fabric kind of cotton bar tape, very thin. Looks nice though.
Looks very, very cool. Also as well, underneath that tape, it's kind of like, we're not totally sure what it is, but it's that Jaguar style kind of ribbed alloy cabling, which again is very, very light, a good way to drop some weight from your bike.
Now, although this is a 52 centimetre bike, which means it's fairly small, we still think you could lose weight on the overall build. But where we think you won't be able to lose weight is on the frame, because that tubing, it is so thin. It's hard to kind of explain how thin that tubing feels.
It feels quite good though. We gave it a little flex before we started filming this. And, you're not giving away much in terms of stiffness, but I'd love to try to ride one to find out for myself.
As hill climb nerds, if we were going to take this to true weight weenie extremes, we do a few things like cut the bars there,
Take the tape off,
remove the steerer bung,
go one by,
and then
make it out of carbon.
so I think we've got through about everything there.
But before you go to the comments, if there is a lighter steel bike out there, I don't know about it. I spent a good bit of time before we filmed this video trying to find something lighter because I want to be correct, and I'm happy to be corrected if I've got it wrong, but be nice.
And if you haven't noticed already, this bike is Svelte by name and
By nature. Thank you to Yasujiro for letting us borrow the bike from the stand. I am completely in love with it, and I'd very much like you to send me one for hill climb season.
if you have any questions about the bike, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and
Click the little bell icon, so every time we upload a video like this, you will get a notification. Goodbye!